So Miami has their guy. Now Oregon's looking for theirs, and of course there's all sorts of different options or reports, and that's another story. But Miami does have Mario Cristobal. He was introduced today. Manny Navarro for theathletic.com joins us. Sikkim 365 Radio and 365 Sports. Manny, what is the mood, the atmosphere? Is it kind of a relief? They feel like they finally may have gotten their guy?
Yeah, I mean, certainly Mario's a favorite son. You know, I mean, he won 2 national championships here. He coached here as a grad assistant, came back as an assistant under Larry Coker in the early 2000s, and then went on and got a lot of experience as a head coach and then as an assistant under Nick Saban. Miami fans have been wanting a coach like Mario, a great recruiter, a guy who has led his team to conference championships. That's the kind of guy that they want. He's got a lot of energy. So this is a very big day for Miami football.
Manny, the search was a bit of a circus and a mess, and Manny Diaz was out on the road recruiting until he wasn't, and then Mario Cristobal obviously taking the job. They don't technically have the AD yet, even though that appears somewhat imminent. What does that say about what Mario Cristobal is going to have to deal with going forward, even if Miami is committed to giving him the things that the program hasn't had to stay competitive?
Yeah, well, I mean, they are giving it to him. That's the whole point of it. The reason he's coming back is because they're giving him money as far as assistant coaches, recruiting, to beef up all those things that are a part of winning. I mean, they made a full commitment to him that Miami would have the highest payroll as far as assistant coaches in the ACC. And you go look that number up. It was Clemson last year. They were $8.4 million. Miami's never spent this way before on assistant. The belief always was, hey, you know what? We've got a great recruiting backyard, and we can just go there and pluck guys. And it doesn't matter who's coaching these guys. We got too many great athletes. But guess what? That got old pretty quickly. It got old 20 years ago. And when everybody in college football was paying coaches, salaries, and those things just kept going up. So I think, right now Miami as an administration has recognized that changes needed to be made. They needed to make a serious commitment if they were ever going to get football on the right track, and that's the big reason why Mario Cristobal's back. If he doesn't get that guarantee, he's not here.
Manny, how many questions are there still remaining about just kind of how all this happened? I know at the press conference, apparently you guys were told to not ask questions about the lead up to this, but is it as muddy as it sounds, or as conspiracy filled as it sounds? Like how all this unfolded on your end, or is there just a lot of questions still kind of remaining on how we got here?
No, I think look. I know the public, for the most part, I mean, they've been reading the headlines and certainly, saw what happened with Manny Diaz and so forth, and weren't happy with the way he was treated. I mean, most schools operate in a different way, right? They fire the head coach and then go searching. But I know from being heavily involved and talking to the administration and people that were really behind this, they felt Manny Diaz, was their second choice. They wanted to give Mario Cristobal a serious run. That was the only guy that they were swinging at, and ultimately the fact that Mario took the job, that's why Manny Diaz is out of a job. Otherwise, he'd be back right now, and he would have got the same support system as far as staff and everything else. I think in the end, Mario's just such a big time recruiter, and plus there was so much negativity surrounding Manny Diaz. I mean, the 2-4 start, the fact that this is year 3, and the team was picked 14th in the preseason. They were supposed to win the conference. Clemson was down this year. This was sort of the golden opportunity. I think Miami fans are just so angry and so fed up with Manny Diaz, that it's almost like the administration had no choice but to go after Mario and at least push for it. So I think, look, it didn't reflect well on leadership in the end, but they got their guy, and that's all anybody cares about now in Miami.
Is there hope that this is the next, and they've had what they thought was their guy? What has to happen? They've been a cluster when it comes to administration. The AD, of course, that's changing too, and now they've got that. And are they all on the same page, Manny? Don't they need to all find a way to get on the same page and not just say it but do it?
Absolutely, I'm with you 100%. And the one thing I will say, Rudy Fernandez, who was the president's chief of staff there at Miami, and who was the one that was really anchoring this with Joe Echeverria, it was the two of them. Both of those guys set out during the interview process to make sure whatever athletic director they spoke to would be good with Mario Cristobal as the coach or Manny Diaz. So while it certainly looks backwards, right, in the order that you would do this, you would hire the athletic director first, let him hire the guy. I think Miami went through the process during the interview process and sort of worked some of those details out. And ultimately, Dan Radakovich was okay with that. Was okay with that scenario. I mean, certainly $2 million, get $2 million a year helps, right? But I think also, ultimately, if Dan's going to take this job, he's going to meet with Mario first, and they're going to make sure they see eye to eye. And if they do, he signs that contract, and they get both of the big time, the coach and the athletic director they wanted.
Is there any talk of building a stadium that is for the Miami Hurricanes and they're not renting space from the Dolphins?
Yeah, I mean, there's a billionaire down here, John Ruiz, who both of his sons played baseball at Miami, and his daughter, I think, was either a dancer or a band member. I don't know the specifics, but he's a guy who's made a whole lot of money and already given the baseball program $1 million in the past. He says he wants to build a stadium down here, and obviously that's always been a huge roadblock for Miami, right? They played at the Orange Bowl, which was down the street from the university, and then moved out to Hard Rock, which is even further away, which is a hindrance, especially when everybody else in college football has, or not everybody else, but certainly almost everybody else has that beautiful campus on stadium. They have those traditions. So I think Ruiz is serious about making a run at this, but the location is going to be the key. Coral Gables, I don't know if you've been down there before ever in your life. Very, very plush neighborhoods. They get angry when the state, when the University of Miami built that baseball stadium, put all those lights up, and they have night games, and they're not down with that kind of stuff. And I think ultimately it's going to be really hard to get a stadium on campus, but certainly Tropical Park. It's another location down the highway, about 15 minutes away from campus. Everybody has always said, build it at Tropical Park. It's a short ride. The students will come. You'll have a good atmosphere. I think Ruiz will make a run at that or another location, perhaps Marlins Park, where the Orange Bowl once stood in that area. Those might be areas that I think realistically it's probably not going to happen.
So, Manny, I just saw where it looks like Cristobal is going to be bringing his O-line coach from Oregon, and I don't know, there might be some other notes that I missed out on, but in terms of the staff, I mean, obviously it'd be expected that Cristobal is going to bring some of his guys over, but is there already any buzz being created over, who might be coordinators or who might be linked and things of that nature?
Yeah, certainly the former LSU coordinator who just got fired from the Panthers, Joe, and I'm forgetting his last name now, I'm blank. Joe Brady, there you go. Thank you for reminding me. I've been a little sleep deprived here for the last week, so apologies. But, Joe Brady is a name that people threw out there. He is a Miami native who kind of rose through the coaching ranks really fast, had obviously a great season at LSU. But, we'll see if that comes to fruition. I know this. Mario's armed with a lot of money to work with here. I know ultimately Mirabal will be coming with him. I reported that earlier. There's a chance his receivers coach at Oregon could be coming as well, and the strength coach. He's going to try to build as great a staff as he can with the money that he's given, and make a serious run at this. Miami won 7-5 this year, but Tyler Van Dyke, the quarterback. I mean, if you watch this guy the last 6 games of the season, I mean, he's got to be one of the top quarterbacks in the country next year. And we all know what that position means, right? I mean, you have a guy like that, you can do special things. The Coastal was nothing special this year. Kenny Pickett's leaving Pittsburgh. North Carolina's losing their guy, Sam Howell. Those guys are all going pro. Like, Miami's in a perfect position, offensively at least, to be really special. We can just get the defense fixed. There's no reason this team can't be in the ACC title game. And, oh, by the way, they've done that once in 17, 18 years. So, that'll be a step forward for the program, without a doubt.
When I first saw Tyler Van Dyke earlier in the year, I was like, who in the heck is this guy? Like, who is this dude? And, and then you keep watching him, and you're like, dang, he just makes plays. Like, he has swagger, he has confidence, all that. I mean, what was it like to just kind of see his development and progress being such a young player, still kind of thrust into things with De'Aaron King's injury? I mean, what was that like to just kind of observe him mature throughout the season?
Well, what's funny is I flew out to Connecticut to meet with Tyler his senior year of high school. He was at this, very nice private school, and I thought, how many great quarterbacks come out of this area, right? I mean, it's got to be a short list. And yet I watched him throw the football, and I'm saying, man, this guy's just got a special arm. Like he was the pitcher of the year in the state up in Connecticut his senior year. And what I love most about him is he's just fearless. He does not give a damn. He is going to throw the football, and he's going to throw it hard. He's going to get it where it needs to go. And I thought, Red Lashley did a hellacious job with him, really just letting him get comfortable. Those first two starts against Virginia and North Carolina on the road, I think they were a little cautious with him. But after that, after he played well in the second half of both of those games, Lashley ultimately realized I can't rein this guy in. I got to let him be him. And he really shined. I mean, 6 straight games with 300 yards or more and 3 touchdowns. I think it's only been done a couple times here the last decade. So he's a special quarterback, and I know Miami fans. I mean, Mario Cristobal called him the best quarterback in the country going into next year. I don't think Mario's maybe studied every quarterback in the country yet, but I got to agree, certainly top 10 coming off of this finish.
Well, you know what, Manny? It's up to you. You have one job. Florida State, and Miami must get better to represent that great state of Florida. So get going on that, okay?
I'm working on it. Hey, you know what? I thought Mike Norvell did a good job at Florida State this year. I think they're going to be, good. And certainly Florida, I really like the hire. I think both of those schools are going to start coming back. But you're right. We need these guys to be good down here. Football really stinks when all of them are hovering around 500. I'll tell you that.
Thank you, Manny.
Yeah, I agree, Manny.
Yeah, I know Paul does his FSU grad. Manny, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you jumping on with us today when Mario Cristobal introduced as the coach at Miami. And so now Oklahoma has done their deal. Miami has the USC, all of them. Now Oregon is on the clock as the date of the page changes in college football.
And going to have a big note that we'll bring up in off the radar.
On the one, do that.
On the thing that just happened. But, Aranda's being mentioned with the Oregon job. There's other names that are being floated around, like Lane Kiffin, and some. I think there's like a couple in-house, or at least one in-house guy that I saw being mentioned, maybe by one of the players. And it's a quiet job right now. It's a lot of just that speculation phase. But I don't think Oregon's gonna wait this thing out and take 3 weeks or a month or what have you. I know they got an interim already in place, but very intrigued by what they're gonna do, and very much looking forward to them naming who that is, and hoping it's not named Dave Aranda.
When Craig's, it won't be, but I know why you feel